Mix 1041 and MixTV.tv. We are joined by our friends Jay and Brittany Hagee from Allon Planning Partners. They're also the hosts of the Allon Exchange radio and TV program. So we have started a series here with them. They get questions in based on their show. They have viewers and listeners send in questions, and then they are here to answer some of those questions today. So Jay and Brittany, first of all, welcome into our studio. Glad to have you with us here today.
Hey, thank you, Bridget. Glad to be here.
So here is a question that we received from a listener. So it says, I'm the guy who never opens his investment account statements because I'm scared to look and because I don't really know what I'm looking at anyway. So how do you help a guy like me?
Yeah, and you're not alone, because especially, the last 18 months of the bear market and the roller coaster that we've been up and down in the markets, there's a lot of folks that are scared to look at their statements. But we never want you to fear looking at your statement. We want you to understand it. And a lot of times people are afraid and they fear what they don't understand. And so we try to make it very simple. We try to break down the complexity of it and let you understand, here's how you can be invested, here's the things that you're invested in, and here's why you're invested that way. And so with most folks, you don't want to be this guy. You don't want to be the person who never wants to open their statements. You need to know how your investments are working for you. But there are sometimes that if you know the why and the how, and even if they're going up and down and you understand it, it's okay that you don't look at them every time, right? But you don't want to do it out of fear. You want to do it out of, I want to stay invested and I want to continue along the path that's getting me to the financial goal that I have.
Yeah, and that's what came to mind when I heard that question, was that if you have a true comprehensive financial plan, you don't have to be watching those accounts constantly. You just don't have to have your eyes on them all the time, because you have them allocated within the guidelines, within the plan that is established. If you've looked at all the components that we talk about all the time, the tax planning, the income planning, the estate plan, you've got all these components along with investment management lined up. If all of that's done, you don't have to have your eyes on it constantly. And we talk so much about not just knowledge, not just having the knowledge and the understanding. So first of all, we want you to understand what you're looking at. Bring in a statement. We'll walk you through it.
Analyze it, yeah.
We'll talk you through. Here's what you're looking at. Here's what these terms mean. And then, like Jay said, that will disseminate some of that fear. It'll get rid of the fear, the lack of knowledge and understanding will be eradicated, because you get it. You can interpret what you're reading there, right? So, and then when you combine that knowledge with action, actually doing something about that, if you don't have the full comprehensive plan, or if you are feeling fearful because you see your accounts doing this all the time and you don't have that plan to bring some stability to it all, then that may be a cause for, concern, and that, hey, this may be a red flag that I need to take a look at.
Sure.
Let's make some necessary changes here. So sometimes that fear can be a precursor to necessary changes that need to be made. So listen to that if that's you, and seek that advice. Find somebody who will help you understand what you're looking at and ensure that you've got all your bases covered.
And so I know there are folks listening that probably do not know what Brittany is saying when she says comprehensive financial plan. So if we had to put it together, and let's break that down really simple. There are 5 components in a financial plan. And so I want everyone to listen really closely today. If you're missing any one of these areas in your financial plan, you're missing out on a full comprehensive plan. Okay, the first one is investment management. So that is what we're talking about here when it comes to statements. Knowing how you're allocated, knowing your risk tolerance, knowing that it's appropriate and that you're going to hit your financial goals staying invested the way you are. So that's step 1, having a good investment strategy. But that's only that's 20% of the full financial plan, right? Most people stop there. Most financial advisors, they stop there because they only deal with investments and that's it. So you want to make sure that you have a little bit more comprehensive plan than that. The second one is an income plan, knowing how I'm going to get the money in retirement from the buckets of money that I've set up in my allocation plan, in my investment plan, right? Having a good spend down plan, basically. So you want to make sure you have a thorough income plan. That's what's going to give you peace at night in retirement, knowing I'm not going to run out of money. That's most people's biggest fear. So investment management, income planning, a big one is tax planning. we're okay with paying taxes. We just don't want to give Uncle Sam more than his fair share, right? So we want to make sure that we have a tax plan that says we want to save money in taxes, because every dollar that I can help my clients save in taxes is a dollar they don't have to risk in their investment plan to actually get to the financial goal that they have. They can keep it in their pocket.
And I'll just add to the tax piece real quick before we move on to the next one. It's not just about the current tax year and saving money in the current tax year, but it's planning. We talk planning. That's such a key word. It's because we're looking ahead. It's not just about today. Let's make sure, yes, today is correct and we've applied everything correctly, but also we're looking ahead. We're looking at how will the decisions I'm making today impact my tax bill 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when I retire, and so that we do not have any tax surprises or issues at that point, right?
Yeah, and maybe we're not giving too much information, but I want folks to understand this is all 5, right? So investment planning, income planning, tax planning. The 4th one is estate planning. So if I'm disabled or I'm deceased, how do I know that my assets are getting to the people that I love and not letting the state break that up and take advantage of my estate and get more than their fair share, right? So you have to have a good estate plan. A good financial advisor should be helping you break down that estate plan. The last but not least is healthcare. Because most folks in retirement, their biggest expense is healthcare. Right. So we want to make sure that we have a plan that covers all 5 of these. If you're listening today and you do not have a full investment plan, an income plan, a tax plan, an estate plan, or a healthcare plan, you're missing out on what Brittany's talking about in this comprehensive plan. So there's probably why you have some fear, because you have questions of what you don't know, or you don't know how I'm going to get there. So let's take away that fear today and come in and see us and let us help you, walk you through that 5-step planning process. You can get a hold of us 315-1441. That's 423-315-1441, or allonplanning.com, ALLON planning.com. We would love to sit down with you and your family and see how we can make a difference in your situation and take away some of that unknown stress and fear that you're feeling by giving you a full, comprehensive financial written plan.
We do have time for one more question. I do want to group this one in this same interview here because you know there's so much uncertainty, and that's what you guys are here for. So as far as this person feeling fear, it says, I've been having a lot of anxiety when it comes to actually spending the money in my retirement accounts. I saved for so long and worked so hard to build it. Is this fairly common? And if so, do you have any suggestions on how I can calm my nerves?
Oh, absolutely. That's common. I mean, that's the number one fear. Am I going to run out of money? And that's what I hear when I hear that question. I hear, I'm afraid I'm going to run out of money, so I can't begin drawing down, right? That's where the planning piece comes back in. And if you have planned, if you have a strategy in place for taking distributions from those accounts so that you can ensure you don't run out, considering inflation, taking all of these things into account, that can bring that peace of mind, right? And this is where you take I mentioned earlier about the knowledge. You take the knowledge that we're offering, your information, and you combine that with action. You do something about it. You don't just know it, but you do something about it. Take that knowledge, put some action behind it, and that produces something really powerful that can bring about this peace to know, okay, I understand it. Okay, I have a peace of mind about it because I understand it. And there really is a mindset shift that occurs and we deal with clients facing this all the time. They get to the point of retirement and they're about ready to pull the trigger and retire, but they're like, I don't know, it's so hard to release that income and begin, drawing down on these assets that I've saved my whole life for. That's a mental battle. That's a mental struggle you have to really change the way you're looking at your resources to be able to begin drawing down. And when you have that comprehensive plan in place where you've covered all those 5 aspects that Jay's already mentioned, that can bring that peace of mind when you've got the income plan in place to know I'm not going to run out of money. I'm not going to run out.
Absolutely.
Then there's no worry in drawing down because you've set the course, you've charted the course, and hey, this will last me till I'm 120, and I know I'm not going to live that long. You can know there is a way to draw down on those accounts safely, wisely, to be able to make the most of what you've worked so hard to save and earn.
The hardest flip in retirement is moving from accumulation or building my assets to now distribution and taking those assets down. It's the hardest thing for any of us to do, right?
But it's fear-based.
It is
and you
ultimately,
can overcome it.
But it is hard because you spend 30, 40 years of your life in one mode and then you have to flip that switch, right? It doesn't happen overnight. But what it does is when we put our 5-step plan in place and you have a great investment strategy and a great income plan and you know how much you're paying in taxes and you know how your estate's allocated and you know how you're going to pay for health care, it takes away a lot of the balls that you're juggling in the air, and you can actually have peace about drawing down from those funds and being invested the way you are because you have a plan. And that's what we offer to folks, a written financial comprehensive plan, so they don't have to carry this anxiety that this question brought, and you don't have to be anxious about your funds.
It's okay that you feel that way. So what I'd say to you who called in, it's okay that you
And
feel that
you
way.
feel that
It's
way.
natural. It's normal. That we hear that all the time. That is okay that you feel that way, but don't stay there. You don't have to stay
That's
there.
right.
You can move forward. You take the knowledge you're learning and you combine that with some real action. Take some action to put a plan in place
right.
to be able to move forward and experience that peace of mind. So reach back out, 423-315-1441. You can connect with us directly or allonplanning.com. You can schedule a complimentary consultation directly from our website. You don't even have to give us a call if you don't want to. You can go straight to our calendar, find a time that works best for you, and we love to talk with you specifically about your situation to ease that burden. You don't have to go it alone.
All right, that is Jay and Brittany Hagee. Great advice as always. Allon Planning Partners. Again, their number 423-315-1441 and online at allonplanning.com. Jay and Brittany, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Bridget. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, Foundations, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific investment opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Each individual investor's situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Foundations only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. No legal or tax advice is provided. Always consult with a tax professional. All rights reserved.